GM friends, can you hear me?
Yo, GM,
GM,
can you hear me?
proud papa.
Yay!
How you doing?
CoderDad, pretty good,
CoderDad.
sir. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Hanging
First
in there.
week. Are you is your sleeping materially altered at this point?
Yeah. It's uh, quite different for sure. Not getting as much coding time in as before, at least for these couple weeks. But now we got like a stay-in nanny, which is very common here in China. They kind of take care of the mother while she recovers and stuff. It's kind of cool. So she's kind of helping split the load. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Just feeding the little bro and changing diapers and all that.
Yeah, congratulations. I remember because my
Thanks,
son's
man.
gonna be 14 next week
Oh
actually.
wow.
Yeah, this coming week. And when he was born, the one thing I didn't think about was sleep. I planned everything else out, the finances, like
Oh no.
everything, and sleep just never dawned on me that that would be affected. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing though. So congratulations. So happy for you.
Yeah, he's super cute. I'm excited to see. Uh, get him hooked early on the gotchis. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you're gonna need to get him a Gotchi Battler team and get him up to date on Gotchi Guardians.
Definitely more work taking care of him than petting my gotchis.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah, he has 72 hours or less than 72 hours to get in on Gotchi Guardian, so it might be too late. But season one points, you know.
Yeah. H3 is joining. But how you doing? How's everyone in the gang this week?
I'm good. I've just been. We'll talk about it during the dower, but trying to do the corp sec stuff in the background, get that stuff in order, and then yeah, just weather slowly getting better. Market seems to be turning better. Can't really tell. And then just exploring
Yeah.
Ponzus on other chains and seeing what's happening. So it's been a good week.
Yeah, besides all the tariff stuff, that's been wild. It seems like I heard some hints of printers being turned on again today. So, man, markets are reacting well.
Yeah, I can see it. We've poked the bear, and now everything is just moving so quickly. So now we're in the U.S. at least. I mean, I guess globally, just forced to be reactionary because it's like this uncertainty. When we talk about fear, uncertainty, and doubt, I always thought of it as a
Yeah.
crypto thing, and this is the first time in my crypto
Oh, yeah.
lifespan seeing it affect global, like on that level.
Right. I mean, you can't get much more FUD than this with U.S. and China going into a tariff war. It's a whole full blown trade war. Like it's wild. I got friends here in China. They're like working around the clock to figure out what the hell to do with all these tariffs. Like setting up like other trying to navigate through Vietnam or something to figure out how to get into the U.S. without getting tariffed. There's probably ways around. They're figuring it out.
Yeah. Good morning,
Man,
Jesse.
But
let him in.
yeah, Jim. But not. I guess not every good can be rerouted through Singapore or Vietnam.
Yeah, my thought on it is just one other thought is like there's like a certain trend in the US, right? Like everybody's like freaking out about Elon's involvement with politics and acting out on owners of Tesla cars. And I had a conversation this weekend where a family was like, "How are people in China taking it?" And then like, "Everything okay?" Because I'm still here. I'm here 5 more days. Been here a whole month, like throughout this kind of whole ramp up. And I was like, honestly, not a single person is like, people ask them like I'm American, people know I'm American. Not a single person has said something to me or been in my face about it or even
Yeah,
like nothing, nothing. And
they're
and
not
I see
usually the
just
taxi
and I see
drivers would be doing that, right? They'd be like,
and I
"So
I
what do you?"
kind of engage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the taxi drivers. I'm like, what's on your mind? Or like just making small talk. And they always ask where you're from. And I always
Yeah.
answer honestly. I'm like, nobody has been aggressive, or like even sounded off. And then like I'm walking the street the other day and I was like, man, there are Teslas all over
Mm.
the place.
Yeah.
All over the place. And I haven't heard any story. I asked my wife, I was like, is anybody talking about like keying Teslas or damaging them? No. Like it's not even an idea in their mind. Like they're,
Yeah.
so in that way I gotta give credit. Like very civilized despite at the political level, they're button heads and all
And they're
that's
very
happening.
aware. Everyone I'm talking
Of
to,
course
like
they
they're
know.
very aware of. Yeah, they know of the situation, but they're just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It is kind of strange. There's no anger. There's just like, America, you guys are doing stupid shit. Like, what are you guys doing?
They're like, oh, you guys are coming out. Yeah. But like they're not acting out. Like you don't see Teslas on fire.
Yeah.
And if I would argue they have a better reason than Americans, right? Or at least as good as. So it's just an
Yeah.
interesting observation. Like, wow, they're really rolling with it. So credit in that respect. Um, so
Well, they're
yeah,
all
it's been
paid actors
interesting.
in the U.S. anyway, though. They're all paid actors.
Something going on there. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Culturally, like it's the cultural difference. I don't know. So I love America. And at the same time, I'm like, they're they're getting hit over here and they're not reacting violently. So I literally like I walked one city block and I counted 6 Teslas. And I read an article the other day that the Model Y is still the best selling car last month in China. So um, I don't know. It's just really interesting. That's just my experience over here. That's just what I'm seeing on the ground.
Yeah, I'd say here in Nashville, I haven't seen any protests. Like people, Nashville's they call it a blue like island in a sea of red because the rest of Tennessee is very conservative. But I haven't noticed, at least maybe it's more downtown because I'm in East Nashville. But there are a couple of Teslas that drive around here. No one messes with them. I don't think anybody cares. So it's like they're more
You
worried
guys
about the
got
weather
guns
right now.
too. I think guns help.
Yeah, the guns thing does probably help because everybody's really nice here, and it's like I've been to bars where I just casually have conversations and people will show me their pistols. They're like, "Hey, yeah, I got a 6 shooter," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, like I carry a little knife. That's that this is obviously not fair." But my girlfriend doesn't want me to
Are
get a
you
gun,
allowed to put a gun on a car in the U.S. and drive it around?
like
Like,
mounted.
if you had the cyber truck, could you mount it and just drive that around?
I don't in
'Cause, I
Florida
mean,
they
it's
probably
built
do
for
that.
it.
Yeah,
No, you can't do that.
maybe in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be concealed carry. You got to find an open carry state for that, I guess.
Yeah, what's the state where you can have a militarized cyber truck driving around?
Yeah, because
Like, I'm not gonna shoot it, but
in
it's,
Florida you can
But in
walk
the
if
glove
someone
around.
tries
box
to key my
versus
car, I'm ready.
right, right.
So
This
A
did
is
you
little
a
get to
drone
meet
will come
Texas?
out of the
Texas
top and
program.
like blow up on them or something.
Uh-oh, my Tesla has that dog in him. Thanks. Is that
There you
AI
go.
generated? I can't tell if it's real anymore.
Right.
GTA type stuff.
That's
Oh,
sick.
man, if that's real, goodness. I'm
Yeah, I
just,
mean, yeah,
I'm just.
I guess it's 360 degrees, right? If someone you detect someone trying to key the car, it just points at them. But yeah, I guess that's considered brandishing. That's
Hmm.
well,
It's one thing to carry, another to brandish, I
might
guess.
not be that far away though.
But I want to get. We're a couple years away from those like robots, like the Tesla. I don't know what they're called, but like the 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 human looking robot to just sit in the back seat and watch your car while you're shopping at Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, bodyguards.
Mustashi, everyone in China thinks that Americans are born holding guns. It's like we think that Chinese people can all do kung fu. Chinese people think that all Americans they come with a gun when they're born.
That cowboy. Well, you could speak to that, right? You just had a very successful mint.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
welcome back to the chat.
He can do both kung
Congrats.
fu and he also has a gun.
Oh my gosh.
He's
He's
mixed. He's OP.
he's OP. He's checking all the
but he can't
boxes.
drink milk. He's lactose intolerant, so that's the downside, I guess.
Oh man. Well, you gotta have something. You gotta balance it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gun fu.
Gun
Yes,
fu. There it is. Instead of Quinn Shui, just like gun fu.
Yeah, he's doing well. We were talking about the beginning. He was able to hold a bottle this morning. That was pretty cool. Like he's not like holding it up, but as I'm feeding him, he's kind of grabbing onto it, like directing it a little bit. Like, bro, you're pretty smart.
Yeah. What kind of bottle are we talking? Oh, a baby bottle. No,
Yeah,
what's wrong with
yeah.
me?
Yeah, not a liquor bottle, but I don't know. See,
That's good.
fun.
That's,
So let's
that's
see.
good.
No Future, you were talking about the the Ponzus on other chains. I saw a little bit of that. You can talk a little bit about what's going on in crypto this week. Seems like it's been kind of a quiet week. I mean, it's been very quiet. Last couple months have been quiet, I feel like.
Yeah, it's been quiet except that a project on Abstract, a Ponzu called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's Bitcoin but bigger, launched, and it's straight up a Ponzi, but it's it caught everybody's attention. So it's interesting because someone put out a post saying that given on the timeline, this game took over in terms of mind share, at least on my timeline, but a lot of people were talking about it, seeing it. But the TVL of Abstract is like 5 to 10% of their other competitors, and most of that came in literally on this game. So they got a ton of mind share without actually having a ton of TVL, which is pretty cool. But this game is, I like it because it felt like they had a sort of balanced economy at the beginning. Because right now I'm looking at the site. Basically, you set up miners in a space. The space costs like half of 1% of a ETH, so $7, and you could set up a free potato miner, and you're mining this Bitcoin. And it's like similar tokenomics to Bitcoin, but you can upgrade and get better miners. So as people buy the miners or burn them, a certain amount of Bitcoin is burnt. So right now, 2.2 million has been mined, and almost 1.3 million has been burnt so far. It's a limit to 21 million. So it was like chugging along. It went from, I got in at $2. I set up like the smallest miners, and I've just been extracting because of like the music's on. It's going to stop eventually. Now, basically yesterday they did an update to allow like some insane increase on gigahash for the top end miner, but it would cost like $150,000 to set up. So like the whales basically, Cole Ethereum talked about this in a post. The whales didn't buy the miners, or only like 2 or 3 of them did, and it allows them to like max extract. So now everybody's dumping, and it went from like $18 to, last I checked, it was down to $6. But I like tripled my money in like 2 days. I didn't throw a lot at it. I knew it was a Ponzi, and I was like, let's just jump in.
I liked the art that they made. Was each miner like unique, or was they're all the same?
Oh, they're all unique. There's different ones. I'm looking at it now. Let me just go over to this box. Yeah, so they started with just a potato miner and then like a Raspberry Pi. But yesterday they introduced smaller ones. So there's like a toaster miner, a pocket miner, mini miner, Raspberry Pro, gaming PC, single NVIDIA GPU rack, ASIC, and then the ASIC rig. The ASIC rig cost 3,000 big. So yesterday that would have been close to $50,000. But it produces it would produce some insane number of big per day. So even for me, I think my rig is I'm earning 3.8 Bitcoin per day. But 2 days ago when I set up the 2 rigs for I spent $100, it was producing 40 Bitcoin a day at $2. So once it pumped, I've been just swapping to ETH and adding 1% of a ETH, 1% of a ETH every day, couple percent. Yeah, hot curly fry. It's a hot mess of information. I know it makes no sense, but it's very clear. Everybody's like, this is a Ponzi, but it just started pumping, and it's gonna die. It's probably at its death stage now because people aren't buying, building as many miners. But they got it, like, at least initially for the first couple days, they got it right because it did send, and I think it hit like a 15 or 18 million market cap, which is high for abstract, but nothing for other chains. So that's why it's like the impact that it had was pretty cool. Yeah, it's already popping, Musashi. I agree. But I'm still getting my, like, I've already mined two this morning, so, or like since last night. So that's like another $12 that I'm gonna buy ETH with and buy the dip. I got to figure out how to get it off abstract though, because like I have all this money on abstract now.
Are you still streaming on Abstract at all?
Well, this week
Or did you ever?
yeah, I was streaming. I've been mixing it up, like, because I've been playing more Gotchi Guardians. I have been streaming to X, but I've been streaming to Abstract for the XP. But this week, Stars Arena or the Arena over on AVAX, they started their live streaming. So I tried doing that for a couple days. I actually like it, but there's just too many crypto niche streaming apps and no viewers. So it's, I'd rather be able to set up a multicast where I can still go to X and get those core people and then push them over to use the crypto native dApps to play around. But they need to build the audiences a bit more on these because I think, what was it, like 20,000 people playing around on these protocols, maybe 50,000. It's just they need to grow it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember the first one I saw was on the DMT chain. What's the name? Senko. They were like, I feel like they might have been the first ones, or maybe there was one or two before them to do the streaming. And I was like, oh, this is cool, but like you're competing against X and Twitch, and what's the value of that? It's very hard to compete against that.
Yeah, see, right now the Arena, I think like Abstract has they're streaming out for a while, but the Arena, because you can follow people, it makes more sense. On Abstract, you can come to my stream, but I don't think there's a way to follow my profile or like to keep up and check. So like if you're going through X, like if I'm streaming to X, you might see it on your timeline and stop in and watch. Where I would have to put a link on X to send to Abstract, and then that's deboosted, and then you got to worry about click throughs and all this other mess. So it's like I don't like it. Also, I love that old piece right there. I think that's from Stompers, right? Troy dropped in.
Pieces. Is that a fake? I would love to.
I think that was
one.
a fake.
This is. Oh man, I don't know how this one and the one that they did with McDonald's.
Yeah.
Or like, did that one ever get minted?
I believe it did. I feel like it did.
I need to go collect that. Someone make an auction for that one. That one was amazing. Skipped on that. I love this too. This feels like the art gallery that we set up Golden Cross when we were in Chicago. Little fakes art gallery. Minus the ping pong. You were saying you were playing Gotchi Guardians though. We haven't put out any updates. They're preparing a big one. Should have some. They're doing some WebGL stuff to try and like reduce the build time and fix a bunch of the bugs. But yeah, what are you enjoying the game?
Yeah, I got 1/3 Nerd pretty much hooked on it. So in the mornings we try to play.
Nice.
It's been more like the last few days has been too tariff heavy. Everybody's like at each other's throat. Like it feels like because people are. I've been in spaces where like Americans are fighting with like Europeans, and it's just getting kind of like not so nice anymore. So it's been, I haven't been able to play as much, but yeah, he's gotten really into it, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's so much like I like playing against the AI, but if you have people there, like seeing T-Bird play or Augie play and just kind of watching their strats and like, oh man, this is a different, what have I been doing this whole time? Like I can just concentrate my forces here, and it's been fun. I will say Mount Oomph though, like it works my computer. Like I don't know, it's probably because I have 4 or 5 different games open, a whole bunch of marketplaces, and then Bloomberg Radio's in the background and Spotify, Hulu. But when I do Mount Oomph, I feel like all the action starts to slow my computer down. I have an older iMac though, so that might be the issue.
Yeah, there's so much that the team can do still, I think, to optimize. That's kind of been one of the focuses as we prepare to really trying to lock things in with this potential cross-platform announcement. But there definitely needs to be some optimizations to get that done.
Hey, actually, I know obviously you've been very busy, CoderDad, lifestyle at this point. But I think we had a conversation in the DAO discussion. Maybe it's better for the DAOer to have this conversation. But we were talking about there's a conversation about like H3 gotchis coming up. Us like
Yeah, we can
talking,
talk about it.
ideating on H3 gotchis, and one of the things I was thinking of was to create a new rarity farming specific to H3 gotchis. And that rarity farming is play based. So you can only land on leaderboards for Gotchi Guardians or Reckless, and there's like, money involved, prizes that could be backed by the actual mint of these H3 gotchis. Similar to what we would do in the past where we mint gotchis. There's the split between Pixelcraft and the DAO, and then the DAO can use that towards like H3 essentially rarity farming. But this time it's just for gaming leaderboards, not XP. Now, we could keep the other rarity farming with the treasury that we currently have and run that at the same time, but then also make this more gamified, game focused like H3 so that we can get more gotchis, create an exciting event on base to onboard new users and, not have the OGs feel like they're nerfed.
It's such like this, the whole base launch, we want to do something. I mean, we have like some things planned. Obviously, Gotchi Guardians is going to have a major launch, or we're working very, very hard to lock in this launch date with this cross platform, and like actually have a real big launch for the game. That's something that's going well, but I think we want to do something even beyond that, like protocol level. It's just so difficult with all of the kind of, I don't know what to call it, like maybe inertia, or just there's so many different like opinions and voices. It's so hard to like navigate what we can like reasonably do. And also we don't want to like like split the protocol into, you can use these assets for this, and you have to use these assets for that, and like introducing more complexity on the asset side. To me, that's also like doesn't seem like the right way to go. Like having things that you can't use these gotchis for this purpose doesn't seem like the right way either. And also, I agree with other people. Like, I don't think we need a Haunt 3 right now. I don't know if that would be the right signal either. But we do want to do something. We want to have some sort of mint or sale on base, just to have something for people to like talk about.
No,
yeah,
I agree with, I agree with
we got a community here open to. Jesse and I are iterating on some ideas, open to other things. Like, we can think out of the box as well. It doesn't have to just be H3. Like, is there any other? Has anyone else come up with any cool ideas that you think would be fun to launch on a new chain? Yeah, XP contest. I mean, we can do all that, and we are going to do all that. Like, those are kind of assumed that we can do, but they're not that significant to like a whole new chain. It's more like incremental.
Yeah, you see that. Roxanne was saying, what if it wasn't a H3 but another type of NFT with similar mechanics that I was mentioning? I guess that could be like a battle pass, but then we're going back to guys and doing all that. Yeah, because in my mind, thinking like generating revenue for the DAO, like how can we do that without? I don't know how we even start the organization. I mean, on the DAO side, we could start doing stuff, but it's always like contentious. I don't know, because also like I feel personally like I would get a H3 Gotchi to play in tournaments, but that's maybe it's just me. Like a new, I don't know.
The thing with base is that it's very collector heavy. Like, they're always kind of pushing this idea of collecting stuff, It's not as Ponzi-nomics. I mean, there are like kind of Ponzi things on the chain, but they're the base team and Coinbase. They're always kind of pushing this idea of collecting stuff for the value of collecting. Today, I even saw a tweet from 0x Designer. I don't know if you guys follow him. He does some pretty cool like fake UI designs and stuff. Like, he's done some really cool work. And he was like, where are all the people that just want to collect for the sake of collecting? Like, and I did see people replying to that. So the idea of like fake gotchis was based on that big premise. Collecting the art because you like the art. Most of the things in crypto, you're collecting it or buying the thing because you think you can either flip it or you can like use it to have utility to generate more money via that thing. But I think the collectors, I don't know, like maybe the meta, maybe will shift towards that. Maybe there's like a push to bring back like collecting for the sake of collecting. And yeah, like everyone's trying to flip, but it's not only about the flip. It's like I like the thing that I'm collecting. But yeah, I do agree with Rex though. Like, collectors are kind of a minority. The guys like Pranksy, I feel like they're just like they're not that even active. Everyone's already made their bag. Like, that wave, that class has kind of graduated of just people collecting because they like the stuff. Kokuchi said they all play Pokemon. Just looking at the chat here. Yeah, I agree with FaZe. Like, there's gotchis listed 60 ghosts. I think the gotchi dilution is not the right solution.
Yeah, I like what Ditchy's saying. That's kind of the idea I'm going with, but it would be H3, like the idea of token gating the ecosystem to the gotchis for play reward type things. But we're kind of working on that already.
So like something like Guardians, where we're not going to like token gate that game because that's our mass adoption play. Like, it's kind of getting people familiar with what gotchis are, and actually we're working on giving you a little XP bonus if you play with an NFT gotchi. I was chatting about that with Slama the other day, and he thinks that's a good idea. Won't be anything like, it's not going to affect your actual gameplay, but if you have a gotchi, you're playing with a gotchi, you get a little more XP for every game that you play. So that's kind of a cool perk that I think if we can get a decent player base for the game, some people will be like, how did that guy get, like, how's he leveling up so fast? And then they'll start going down the rabbit hole a little bit, and they'll start playing as a gotchi. But yeah, I wouldn't say that we can't, if we really like, if we want to get more people to play these games, forcing them to go buy an asset is like really, it's so hard to get people to like do anything. And when you put friction like that in front of them, they're gonna bounce every time, unless they're specifically super high intent. They know exactly what they're getting into. When that happens, very, very rarely. Ditchy says, launch with a sales campaign focused on existing assets and let the market boom. I'm not totally parsing what that means. How can you sell existing assets? How does that drive purchasing? Because part of it in Gotchi Guardians, when you look at other people, there's two ways. When you look at other people's maps and you see them as a gotchi, or in the profile when you're looking at their gotchi, people are going to be looking at gotchis that have wearables that aren't guardians. Like a certain percentage of people will say, hey, how does that guy look so cool? Like, how did he get those wearables? And they start going down the rabbit hole. It's not going to be everyone, but like a certain percentage of people that like to collect stuff and like to show off will, yeah, I look like that. That looks pretty cool. And then they'll start looking at the wearables. And then the other one was just, you can, if you own a gotchi and play as a gotchi in the game, you will get extra XP. So you'll level up faster in the game. Doesn't affect the gameplay because it's a huge web of complexity to start adding in gotchis, and then it becomes like very pay to win, which is what we're trying to avoid with gotchi guardians. But we can give you like a little bonus for owning a gotchi.
I think the more like, oh, maybe we could share a little bit about like more our mindset, like what kind of things are we looking for as we go to base that we think could do the opposite of like pigeonhole us into just more rarity farming. Because like everybody knows, rarity farming, it is what it is. We're in the 10th, 11th season of it, whatever. We're not trying to like come out with more things on base that drive people to that, because anybody with like an IQ above room temperature is going to look at that and be like, well, it's not for me. Like, obviously rarity farming is for somebody that's established, and they have to earn back their earnings over multiple seasons, and there's no guarantee the guy's going to be able to support another 10 seasons. Like this is something that's already happening. We're rewarding people that were there on day one. We're not rewarding people that are on day one of base. So base and rarity farming, like they're not compatible. So we have to look at delivering some sort of mechanism, some sort of compelling product that has nothing to do with rarity farming. I think that's a starting point.
Yet while at the same time also like is a funnel to bring people and let them learn about what Aavegotchi is and the project. And some people will have like they'll go deeper and they might discover rarity farming. But yeah, I agree that if we go into base trying to sell rarity farming to people, like it's just going to fall on deaf ears. I'm curious if there's opinions about that, but like that's Golden Cross and I's opinion on this. Just it's not rarity farming it's not a mechanic that is like super attractive to newcomers in the way that
if it was
designed.
with the I mean, guys, if we think about the budget allocated to rarity farming, and then we look at the results, it's obviously a failure in terms of it's a massive expensive failure in terms of bringing in new people. It does not do that. It may be very successful in some way, but it's not that way. So as we look ahead to moving to base, we need to be thinking about delivering something compelling, interesting. We don't have the wins at our sales. Like NFTs at large are not in a good place. But that's the challenge before us. I mean, I think that at least for a lot of people here on this call, we all embrace that. We're all here because we see an opportunity, and a lot of people quit and rolled away a lot earlier than us. But there is something to do with on-chain art, on-chain mechanics, decentralization. That's why we're here. So I think there's something to do. And I don't know. I think base is still the right place for matching our ethos, which is like failures first, And how big that market is and how big of a share we can get of that market, that's the open question. But I do believe that market exists, and I think it will grow over time.
Yeah, this
But
is
H3 would just feed into the idea of like, well, more rare. Let's fund rarity farming more. Like, I don't.
well. That's
What's
why
the fun of that?
when I mentioned rarity farming for that H3, it wouldn't really be rarity farming. I'm just using that concept. It'd be game tournaments like prize leaderboards on
Hmm.
regular basis, like weekly or monthly competitions that you have to play to earn, and that would basically be fed by the sale of these gotchis. So that funding that is received is split between Pixelcraft and the DAO, and then the DAO and Pixelcraft can fund these tournaments that go on, you know, all the time, basically, like weekly leaderboards or monthly leaderboards. Of course, I don't know what the overhead is to make this all work, but it seems like you already have the leaderboard stuff down for Reckless and for Gotcha Guardians. It would just be about like, you know, setting up a H3 and executing it. I understand though the dilution part of it, but yeah, rarity farming as it is not going to be attractive. So a new mechanic. That's why I think playing the games, encouraging people to hop in leaderboards for maybe not even prizes, but like, you know, if it is based on the rarity farming thing, like having it funneled from the sales, the initial sales of the haunt, then it could, you know, it might work. I don't know, but more active. You got to play the game. It can't just be sit back and dress.
Thing is that this faces the same issue that rarity farming initially had, which is your rarity farming. When we sold the gotchis and the wearables, the the first and second season of rarity farming, I think, was paid for by the proceeds from those sales. And then you run out of funds. So people are buying an asset almost knowing that they're going to be down because they're not able to climb the leaderboard. It's a very zero sum kind of game. The only reason that rarity farming is continuing today is because we added more to the treasury via the ghost bonding curve. If the curve hadn't turned off, the rarity farming funding was basically gone. So I just think that we would face that same issue if you sold a new haunt or something and said, we're going to use the proceeds from this sale to pay gamers or something. It seems like pretty obvious that most people are going to lose on that, right?
I feel like if you stretch it though, because what we did was we did 2 seasons, a lot of money going into those 2 seasons, and not the best marketing use of it. Where even if we had half of one season, you could stretch that out to last a year or two, and then now you're pushing also in promoting the games like Gotcha Guardians, because the idea is to get it into more hands, especially as it goes cross-platform. But you're getting that attention, so I don't know. Like the idea though, for me, the reason I think of this is once again just generating revenue for the DAO, and then if Pixelcraft is getting revenue, that's great too, because then it always helps.
Yeah, our goal, we've stated this so many times. I hope that everyone understands what we're trying to do is to raise if Pixelcraft makes money, the DAO makes money. And we're trying to Gotcha Guardians, I think, has a decent chance going to market and actually generating some revenue, and 20% of that is going back to Aavegotchi DAO. It's done in a non-speculative sort of way as well, where we're not just creating endless NFT debt that needs to be paid back later. It's actual revenue. If we just keep creating new things and selling new stuff, we just create more and more debt that needs to be repaid later on. It's like an endless cycle. It's very, very difficult. Really, if you look at Web 2, people are paying massive amounts of money for things like what's the Genkai and like the what's the Japanese game, Star Rail and all that kind of stuff. They don't expect anything in return. They just want a good game. Like that's where I think Web3 can improve, is that you actually own the stuff that you're paying for and you can trade it if you want. I think it's just that simple. You make a game that gamers want and are willing to pay for, and that's like revenue that can go back to funding whatever Aavegotchi DAO wants to do. I think that's the way. I think that's definitely one way, but it's a challenge to actually generate, for anyone in Web3. No one has really done it well yet to actually generate revenue with a fun game. But I think Gotchi Guardians is a fun game. I think people have been enjoying it quite a bit. It's still got some things to fix, but like I think it's got a decent chance of a go to market. We're trying to get it now to where the build is so fast to load that we can actually start running ads on like Reddit, because people out there love tower defense games. But the issue right now is that it's just a little bit too slow. Like you click on it and it's, as a browser game, you're kind of expecting it to be 5-10 seconds. You don't want to wait 2 minutes. Crazy thought, but what do you guys think about a GIF? This is like a new asset, which is a little bit scary, but collection, like not a Ponzi, but just collecting the GIFs, these amazing little GIFs that we're making. Would you guys want to collect these GIFs in some way? Collect? Why?
You're so humble, Dan, letting the cat out of the bag. Some crazy thought. It's not a crazy thought. You've been working on this, chiseling away for, I would say, probably multiple
Well, it's
months.
the first time we've mentioned
this
it.
is alpha. This is alpha. No, it's alpha. It's not offhand. Like you didn't just think of this. Yeah, this is a potential way towards making a splash on base, right? This is one way to do it without going back to the same old thing, but just rewards. Yeah.
No, just the way things going. I mean, people don't. I don't know if you guys are would even want these. It seems like there's a lot of negativity. I'm just not sure that, I think it'd be cool. I think, base people might like them, but if our own community is like, no, we don't want to collect anything, we just want rarity farming, then like hands are tied.
Yeah, I guess
Do
that's
have
what
some
it comes
cool
down
ideas
to,
for it
right?
though. Yeah.
I mean, if
So
you
that's
flesh
why I
it out a
phrased it
bit
that
more,
way.
it's actually it's a very I guess what I'm saying is you're underselling it because it's a very deep idea. It's actually like an entirely new meta that stands on its own product, whether it's Aavegotchi or not. So that's the powerful part is like NFTs. You updated your profile actually in relation to this. Like you're working fiercely on finding a way to bring the NFT meta back, right? I think that's a bigger story. That's bigger than Aavegotchi actually.
Yeah, the basic pitch is that
Make NFTs fun again.
well, yeah, we can make NFTs fun again, make collecting fun again. Every day when I really like waking up and going to Giphy and seeing there's like a leaderboard kind of that you can see of the views of each GIF. And I like waking up. I made the little GIF dashboard for some people. I don't know if you've viewed that or not, but a little cool little dashboard, and it just shows you every day how many views each GIF is getting, and it's very, very different for each GIF. And some of them go up quite quickly, or some of them they don't go up that much, but it can be very surprising. And I just had this thought like, that could be something kind of fun to speculate on. Like, what if I could own a piece of, you know, you don't own the Giphy GIF, but you own the NFT that represents that Giphy GIF, and maybe there could be some speculation there, like how is this GIF gonna perform in the future, things like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of projects doing GIFs, and I haven't seen anyone actually tokenizing GIFs yet. We got some pretty sick GIFs.
Well, the difference is it's not just subjective. Like, the numbers stand for it. So I think we just hit 2 million plus views on the GIFs. And so we have like actual statistics to back up the interest in these GIFs. They're doing numbers outside of the Aavegotchi community. They're the only part of the Aavegotchi meta right now that's doing numbers like that. And we see some of them, like the Spider-Man Aavegotchi crossover. That's not the one I expected to be the most popular, but it is, I think, top 5. And for a long time, it was holding the #1 position in terms of numbers on Giphy. You could see these statistics. We got the API to pull it, and it was quite fascinating. So I think we're onto something with that. And then if you can gamify that, put it on chain, we could be on the cusp of something, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little early to share how we're fleshing that out. But we put some work into this, and it could be something that makes sense as we arrive on those.
The main difference with like something like Lens and Giphy is, with Giphy you can literally use the GIF like anywhere. I mean, X, or I think with Discord you have to use Tenor, but maybe there's things we could do with combining the views or something. But mainly I think it's like Instagram and X, maybe Threads, where you can use these GIFs. And the fun thing about Giphy is that it tells you exactly how many views each GIF is getting every 24 hours. They have a little dashboard that you can go in, and it's a public. It's not in their API. They don't tell you that, but it's really easy to scrape that and like create your own little dashboard. So just the fact that kind of, if I don't know, if I could own that, a piece of that GIF, either whether it's like a 1 of 1 or, you know, different rarity levels or something, it's got some collectability to it. Personally, I'm enjoying the GIFs, but I don't know. Are you guys enjoying the GIFs? I mean, I think some people in the community are using them, but if it's we want to do something that people in the community would also enjoy, and that can also potentially generate revenue for Pixelcraft and for Aavegotchi DAO. But I see just people talking about rarity farming all the time, so I don't know. So the draw would be, you know, we can we're basically monetizing speculation on the Giphy views, and there's some like mechanics that Golden Cross has been put some big brain effort into this that are a little bit long to go through. But I mean, there's a way to kind of almost like futures. I think of it like you're almost betting on the futures views of the GIFs. Like, will this GIF do well in the next week or month from now? Things like that. Imagine going into like January and you're like, guys, I know that Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy the Cupid GIF because I know that thing is gonna pop off a month and a half from now. or like it's election season. There's probably going to be a lot of Trump gifts or things like that. Could be kind of fun.
We could go through the whole pitch, but I guess we weren't really prepared. It's still work in progress. At the same time, it's something we've been thinking about a long time. It's not an accident that you guys see,
Yeah.
The charts and the stats being promoted for the gifts. One, because they're doing great numbers. Two, because they're doing great numbers, we're thinking about, well, there's something here. Like these are compelling pieces of artwork that people are using that are not part of the Aavegotchi community. And we're very, very sensitive and aware of the fact that that's special, because that's what we're always working towards, right? Is bringing in people that don't necessarily care about royalty farming or being there for the first sale or whatever. That's the whole goal, is to expand the IP,
Yeah.
and that brings benefits to everybody. So seeing that, it wasn't one of the games. Like, we're still working on Guardians, we're still working in Gotchiverse. They have certainly different goals, but the gifts are doing numbers. So quite literally. So we're thinking about, how could that play into base? And it was well just some interesting thoughts. So how it's distributed, all of that. Obviously, Gotchi holders are going to benefit and get the first access, or maybe some airdrops, things like that. Like, obviously, everybody is going to be taken care of. But it's just a question of, can we really stick this? Is there something here where we could take the momentum from the gifts and the fact that they are popular and convert that into putting them on chain? And Base does seem like the best place to do that.
Yeah, Base would be. I think they would be very supportive of something like this, especially like if we're going into on-chain summer. They need content. I don't know if they'll do on-chain summer again. I haven't seen any promotion of it yet, but in the chance they do, I think they will. This will be kind of cool to have some synergy with that. Yeah, I reading Goops is coming here. Yeah, I love using them on CT. They're great. We have and we still have so many that aren't even released yet.
And a bit of a challenge to everybody here. Maybe you guys aren't on X or anything, but the majority, I don't see you guys on X. I don't see you guys pushing the gifts. Not as much as you would think for a community that's doing great numbers relative to other NFT communities. Aavegotchi's still doing great. We got 42 people on the call right now. But when I go on X, like, the reply guy strategy, if you guys aren't like aware, like basic stuff, just like show up, throw an Aavegotchi GIF in the replies, and you get followers. And you get engagement. So no future, obviously, the three of us on stages, this is like basic 101 stuff. But if you have an X account, why aren't you using Aavegotchi gifts? So that's just something for anybody that's like, that should be your first instinct, is like, oh my God, there's a gift for that. Because if you type it in, we've got a gift for just about any situation at this point, and it's growing day by day, week by week. For you hold like multiple spaces, all that. I mean, am I wrong? Do you not use, like, are you not finding the gifts helpful?
Yeah, I use them. I like to use the salute one. It's a great one. I don't use the Trump dancing one anymore because these tariffs are messing with people's minds. So it's just like, all right, yeah. But I saw that you guys said the one with the down arrows, because I think that was one I suggested. The idea of like, oh God, the market's
we
on
added
fire.
that one.
Yes, that's great. Especially we're gonna have weeks where that's gonna be super relevant. So it's pretty cool. You just gotta find the right situations and drop them in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we could you could speculate like the numbers are coming in. What's the Treasury Department has their quarterly meeting. Like, I think it's gonna suck. Just the down GIF is gonna get more usage. Basically, kind of sort of a prediction market, but not exactly like not a poly market. But I don't know. I want to speculate on the GIF somehow. I think it'd be fun. And I just want to own it too. It's not, again, it's like everyone is always in like CT, everyone's so focused on just the speculation part. I agree with the Xerox designer. We just like, I like collecting stuff. Okay. I'll have to check out Meme Explorers. Cool. Join the Discord. We also have, we're very busy doing the final touches and testing for the actual migrations. That is also taking up quite a bit of time. But before we go into the DAO call, just final reminder, put the announcement out today. About 3 days left until the first Gotchi Points campaign is over, season 1. So haven't seen a ton of movement on the leaderboard the last couple of days, but I'm kind of expecting to see some movement here in the last couple of days, especially the last day. It's probably going to get pretty wild out there. So good luck to everyone on the leaderboard. Get that Alchemica going in the fire.